Hello viewers, welcome to Mumtaz Herbal Product Presents Voice of Excellence. On today's episode, we have someone whose work connects continents, Dr. Bernd Spanier, the Deputy Head of the EU Delegations to Bangladesh. From shaping EU trade policies to strengthening partnerships here in Dhaka, he has been at the heart of global diplomacy. So let's hear his journey and stories from the world of international relations. Viewers, our special guest for today's show is here with me. Please welcome Dr. Bernd Spanier. Hello sir, how are you?
Very well, and thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure.
This work.
It is a pleasure to be in here, and I love the decor of this room. It has been painted beautifully with the rickshaw painting motif. I really like it.
It has a lot of atmosphere coming from Bangladesh, and we are very proud of it. And yeah, glad you like it.
Glad to know that, sir. So, sir, our show, Voice of Excellence, is to inspire our audience so that voices like yours reaches them and they can be inspired. So, shall we start our talk from the beginning?
Sure, shoot, please.
Okay. Sir, you have had an impressive journey within the European External Action Service, serving across multiple key positions. So, what initially drew you to a career in diplomacy and political communication?
If I can be honest, pure coincidence. Initially, I wanted to become a journalist like you. To be specific, I wanted to become a sports reporter.
Wow.
I wanted to travel to the World Cups and Olympic Games, so I enrolled in a political communication class at the beginning, and then took some classes in political communication. I ended up doing a traineeship with the European Commission. And that's why where I got stuck with the European Union, because I found that I liked it very much, and then I switched to the diplomatic service, and here I am a few years after.
Wow. So far, how many countries have you been posted in?
Just one. In fact, Bangladesh is my first posting because I spent a long time in Brussels, which is not my home country, but then, we had COVID coming, diversion, so it took me quite a long time to apply for my first posting, but I'm very, very happy that it was Bangladesh, because I think I couldn't have thought of a better posting, because the things I learned here have enriched me so much and will enrich me also for future postings.
And it has been 3 years you have been posted in here. How do you like the country?
Yeah, very much. I mean, as I said, there's hardly a country where you can post it where you deal with so many different issues. So I'm not only head of political, but also head of trade and business. We have a $20 billion trade relations with Bangladesh from the EU. We have the Rohingya crisis. We have, of course, we had the uprising last year. I mean, there's so many things you are involved in here in Bangladesh. And then, of course, the friendliness of the people, the access you have in the ministries, the friendliness of also the entire diplomatic community, I would say is second to none. So very, very happy and pleased to be here.
As you are the Deputy Head of the EU Delegation to Bangladesh, you have been entrusted with overseeing political affairs, trade, migration affairs, and also business. So what have been the most challenging and the most rewarding work in this sector so far?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say the most challenging period was indeed last year, the uprising, and we didn't have any plan for that, let's put it like this. And during parts of this, I was also chargé d'affaires here. And to witness this was, I think, it's a highlight in everyone's career. So I feel very privileged to have been here during that time and see how the events were unfolding. And of course, afterwards, working with partners to help Bangladesh, on its new democratic path. The second thing I might mention is, very fondly, I visited Bhasan Char, the Rohingya refugee camp, and they organized a football match. It was NGOs versus refugees, and we had 15,000 people watching.
Wow,
half the population of the Char. So that was, I think, again, a once in a lifetime thing I will always remember for the rest of my postings and career.
You chaired the Rohingya Political Cooperation Nexus Group. From your perspective, what role does the EU play in solving this Rohingya crisis issue?
Yeah, very important topic for Bangladesh, but also for the EU, because I think we're one of the biggest donors, if not the biggest donor, I think, in humanitarian aid on the Rohingya issue. And we all know that Bangladesh has shown, has very graciously and kindly accepted more than 100 million refugees on its soil. And what we try to do is really to see that we can support these people so that when they are, the conditions for their return are finally there in the future, that people can have some sort of level of education, some level of skill that they can put to use. And that's what we try to work with the government of Bangladesh. And it's been a very intense and enriching experience for me here, but for also all the other development partners.
We are very glad and thankful to the EU for helping us out on this issue.
Thank you for saying that. Equally glad to hear this. Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. Given your background in diplomacy and political communication, how important is narrative building for EU in countries like Bangladesh?
I would say that narrative building is absolutely essential, and I think the reason for that is that our brains work with narratives. A brain is a narrative digesting machine, it's a narrative creating machine, and it's sometimes very difficult to correct a false narrative with facts. What you have to do instead is to offer a new narrative, a better narrative. I think what we are doing is we're changing a bit the narrative of Bangladesh in Brussels, from a country that used to rely a lot on cooperation development aid to being a trading partner. And now we see Bangladesh through the lens of an economic success story, where we have a multi-billion-dollar trade relations with. And that's something that we try to keep emphasizing in Brussels. So, we are now having a partnership and cooperation agreement, which we are currently negotiating. So the narrative of Bangladesh as an economic partner is something we're trying to really hear from the EU delegation implement also back home in Brussels.
Sir, trade is a very significant part in EU-Bangladesh relations. With the ongoing global shifts in trade policies and sustainability goals, where do you see this partnership evolving in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's an essential component of our partnership, and the current times are, let's say, tumultuous for many reasons. What we try to do as European Union is to be a reliable and predictable partner to Bangladesh at times when other partners might not be as reliable as they used to be. And we are really trying this by promoting an international trade regime order based on rules and the multilateral system. So again, it's important for us that Bangladesh knows that we are a stable partner for the next 5-10 years, what is coming. And we need to know that Bangladesh is also, on the other hand, fulfilling some obligations that we have in our trade regimes when it comes to adherence to certain standards. So, for instance, you might have heard of the term GSP+. This is a preferential trade regime we'd like to have with Bangladesh after graduation. But for that, certain things have to be fulfilled in the international trade system. We are ready to do our utmost to support Bangladesh in this, because we both have an interest in continuing this trade. It's not only Bangladesh benefiting from this, but it's also the European Union benefiting from this. You have big European companies being active here. You have lots of garments, of course, being exported to Europe, which makes certain clothing products much more affordable to European buyers than they would otherwise be. So yes, in a nutshell, again, to say, be a reliable partner and predictable partner for the foreseeable future.
We would hope that our country can fulfill the obligations by EU and this partnership reaches its full potential.
Yes, we're working jointly towards that goal.
So we have been talking about work too much. Now, with your permission, can I divert slightly from the topic?
Of course, go ahead. That's why we're here.
So I would like to know about you. I would like our audience to know about you. Like, where were you born and what kind of childhood did you have?
Yeah, it's a complex one. I was born in a little village in Germany, close to the border of France and Luxembourg. My mother is English, and my grandfather was Irish.
Wow.
So I have the 3 passports. And then I married a Greek woman. So, but I think it's quite typical for people working in the EU to have that kind of background. But you know, it taught me many things about adapting to different cultures, and maybe it explains a bit my motivation to travel a lot, and you know, maybe also another motivation to work for the European Union, because Brussels is actually not far from where I was born, maybe a 3-hour car ride. So yes, this maybe, does that satisfy you, or you have some more questions?
Yeah, I have one more question. Like, you grew up in Europe, you spent all your life there, and now you have been staying in Bangladesh for the past 3 years. So outside of your demanding diplomatic duties, how do you spend your time in here? Like, do you have any favorite leisure activity to do in Bangladesh? And have you tried our food? And if you have, what's your most favorite dish?
Of course I've tried your food, and my favorite dish is not biryani. My favorite food, Bangladeshi food, is dal. I love dal in all its variations, because it's also very healthy food, and I prepare it myself, in fact, and whenever I can. And then I think people underestimate the sweets, the bakeries, the sweet shop you have, the mishti. So I'm a big fan, so is my wife. And yeah, those would be the two things I would highlight. And don't forget, you know, the very good coffee you get at North End Coffee.
Oh yeah,
I have a daily trip from my office there. I couldn't live without my daily cappuccino from there.
We have that in common. I am also a very big fan of North End. Sir, what do you do in your leisure time here in Bangladesh?
Yeah, the country is keeping me very busy, so not too much leisure time. So I don't play golf. I don't play tennis. I should have started this, but I go to the gym regularly, because they have some very good gyms here. And my wife is also very sporty, so we go there together. Because I think, you know, it's a demanding job, a demanding country. You have to stay fit, and maybe I can reveal that, you know, since not so long, we have a little daughter, and so I try to. Thank you. I try to spend as much time with her when I come home, and maybe also during lunchtime. So that's my new routine.
Sir, we have almost reached at the end of our interview session. I have one final question for you. So lastly, what advice would you like to give to young aspiring professionals who are looking forward to enter international diplomacy or any EU organization? Like, what key skills should they have or should they develop now so that they can make themselves better for tomorrow?
I have to say, it's almost sad that the interview is already over. This was such a nice conversation. So, what are the key skills? I would say, firstly, enter a job in this area, perseverance, because there's a lot of competition, and it took me personally also many years to enter. So don't be discouraged by, you know, the applications that didn't work out. Just keep on going, believe in yourself, and then eventually, but perseverance, again, this is the key part, I think. Once you are in this profession, I think you will benefit a lot from, yeah, how shall I call it? Maybe emotional intelligence, in the sense that you have to adapt to the, you know, logic and the position of your counterparts in a country. Because of course, Bangladesh, for instance, is a very different society from, let's say, society in Belgium, in Germany, and France. And it works according to different, yeah, let's say, logics sometimes. So to put yourself in the shoes of your counterparts and understand how a country is ticking, I think that's probably the most important thing you need to know, trying to have success in your post.
So thank you for the wonderful advice. Before I leave, I have a small gift from our sponsor, which is Mumtaz Herbal products.
Thank you very much, but don't underestimate my need for, you know, good skincare, because
you are already handsome, and I'm sure you maintain yourself pretty well.
Thank you very much indeed. Been a real pleasure.
Likewise here, sir.